All right, let's get this party started. Welcome in, everyone. Soul Commodore back at you again with with some more art. And first off, I have to give a big thank you. And to be honest here, hey Nat, um, I got to give a big thank you and a shout out to. Can you type, please? Thank you. But a big shout out and a thank you to Nat. Thank you so much for the resub. Very much appreciated. You didn't have to do that. But yeah, shout outs to Nat. Um, been doing some co-working streams in the mornings, and then some fun gaming streams as well. Definitely worth follow. Definitely worth checking out if you guys want a good time, a fun time, a chill time. Um, the last game I saw you playing, I believe, was the Quarry, which the Quarry is fun. But um, ooh, you know what? I apologize. I will be right back. I have to get my fan because it is boiling in this room. Not done yet, but it's been really fun. That's good. Also, this is a fun view of me from two different angles. But I will be right back. I'm just gonna grab my fan out of the other room real quick because it is warm in this room with the door closed. So I'll be right back, everybody. Here, you can take a look at the drawing in the meantime. There we go. I'm just gonna plug this in over here. It's really funny too because it's been a cool day outside, but I'm just gonna turn this fan on. That should be better. All right. Squeeze under the camera there. So, I'm also gonna zoom this in. Still feels like the end of August weather there. Oh yeah, yeah. We it's definitely been getting cooler here the last couple of days, which I'm perfectly fine with. My wife not so much. she wishes it was still warm, but yeah, the camera's gonna shake a fair bit here, so just bear with me while I get the camera positioned because you love fall? Yeah. Fall's one of my favorites. Okay, there we go. That's what I want. Okay, now stop shaking. Well, the thing is that my wife, more than anything, she hates being cold because she's always cold, and that's what it is. Is it's a signal that the weather's going to become very, very cool very, very soon, and that's what she's not looking forward to. But I get. But she lives in Canada. Yes, yes, that is true. That is true. I do find myself kind of laughing at um, people who live here who constantly complain about the cold weather, and it's like, I mean, you do know that we live in Canada, right? That's, uh, but I also get it. Like for some reason, my wife just cannot retain heat, so you can also always put more layers on. True, true. All right, so in case you couldn't tell by the palette, we are going to be putting the paint on this particular painting today, or drawing today. Um, that's like 80% of Canada's identity. True. That maple syrup and Canada geese. So let me make sure everything's plugged in. Everything is. And being overly kind. True. True. Well, I would say being overly nice, because there is, in my opinion, there is a difference between being nice and being kind. And there's a lot of Canadians who are very nice, but they're not very kind. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to lay out some tape. I'm not going to press down too hard on this because I don't want this tape to eventually tear up the paper. We're going to approximate what will be a straight line. That's approximate. Speaking of, because we were speaking about the quarry, one of my favorite streamers, who I haven't rated or anything because his streams are a little bit different than mine in terms of like general content and all that. One of my favorite streamers is a guy by the name of Nub Zombie, and he is a Silent Hill aficionado. His favorite video game is Silent Hill 2. Really just an expert on the entire Silent Hill series. And it has been very entertaining watching his last couple of streams of him playing the new Silent Hill remake, or Silent Hill 2 remake. Because for those of you who don't know, there was a Silent Hill 2 remake years ago called the HD Collection, in which a whole bunch of stuff was broken. Like, just so much stuff in the game was broken. Someone's texting me. My roommate loves the Silent Hill series. I don't know much about them. Fair. Well, this guy's a huge Silent Hill fan, and the Silent Hill HD collection, which included Silent Hill 2 and 3, was absolutely awful. Just an awful collection. And there's a lot of hype, but also a lot of nervousness from Silent Hill fans because the development team, Bloober Team, was doing this new remake. But from what I've gathered from his stream so far, he's very like he's actually enjoying playing it, which is, it's always hard when you've got a bias, and not so much a bias, but it's really hard when you've got a game that you love and then they remake it and then it's not good. So he had a lot of trepidation about how this remake was going to go, and so far, it's really nice seeing him be pleased, because he's been up until this point too. Like they didn't make it easy to actually play Silent Hill 2 on any other systems or anything like that. So. But yeah, the Silent Hill series is great. Well, I will say like the first 4 games are great. There's some after that aren't great, what I've watched. But Silent Hill 2 is sort of seen as the best of the best. Silent Hill 2 is like the best of that crop of games. So it's very nice to see him happy playing the game, Okay, so now we're gonna slap some paint on this. I'll move this up a little bit. There's my palette. There's my palette. But how you doing, Nat? Hope you're having a good day. All I can say is, like, from what I've seen so far from this remake is Silent Hill 2 fans specifically have been waiting a very, very long time for a remake of this quality. Now, what color are we going to do? Actually, I'm going to make these green. Like have a greenish tinge. Feels like there's a ton on your to-do list. Ah, fair, fair. Well, that's all you can do, right? You can just tackle what you can and try your best. Ain't no shame in that game, you know. But I know what you mean. I've been finalizing the grant for paying for some of this work for this show because it's going to be expensive to try and put this all together without a grant. Um, I'll do it. It's just like we're looking at like maybe 2026. I might be able to get it into a show instead of 2025. Um, but yeah, I was mapping everything out in terms of all the work that I'm doing for it, and it's a lot of work. But that's okay. That's what makes it fun. Now, I'm not saying that that makes it okay for you, because I mean, sometimes you need a break from all that work. But I hope you're able to tackle what you can when you can, and that it doesn't become too overwhelming. That's good though. Gives you more time to do it. True, true, true. It does give me more time to do it. But it's one of those things where it's like I'm so excited about like where this is going and the ideas that I've got swimming in my head that I don't want to wait, you know. But you know, you do what you got to do. I definitely feel where you're coming from though. So we're going to paint this up and down. So other side before we even start getting into the charcoal. And now we'll start painting into the charcoal. Same thing on this side. Now for this next part, I think it'll be easier if I throw this way. Yeah. Oh, then you guys can't see. There we go. Bit of yellow. Some green up in here. Typically paint using green. I'm not quite sure why. Just never been one of my go-to hues, I guess. What's my favorite color of all time? Well, if we're talking just straight up colors and we're including all of them, black. Black is my favorite color. Um, Black is definitely my favorite color. But if we're not including black, if we're wanting to not include that because it's a shade and all that other stuff that people say, um, in that case, blue is my favorite color. And not even a specific blue, I love blue. Blue is a great color. What about you? Just knocked down my tape. Forest green? Nice, nice, nice. I will say that my favorite blue to paint with, I've mentioned on here before, is a cerulean blue. I love cerulean blue. That's my favorite blue to actually paint things with. I do accidentally make loving green part of my personality sometimes. I mean, that's fair. I feel like green does get underappreciated. Um, yeah, green definitely gets underappreciated, in my opinion. Just dry that brush a little bit. And we'll some white. And I'm gonna throw this up here actually. And try not to knock it over. So I'm gonna put it on my laptop. Now I'm gonna introduce a little bit of black. Yeah, I can think of much worse things that people can work into their personalities than liking green. another pass with just the white over top. Now, I know it feels like I just undid everything that we've been working on, but I've got a plan, don't you worry. We're going to reintroduce some of this green here. You trust the process? Good. Good. Yo, Retro Homebrew, how's it going, Squid? Hope you're doing well on this fine, what is today, Monday? Monday evening. Ha, that's a funny emote. What is that? Oh, wizard head. Okay, fair. Just gonna shamelessly ripped off from Final Fantasy. Hey, that's all right. That's one game series that I never really had the chance to play because we didn't have any Final Fantasy games growing up, like in my house, and none of my relatives had Final Fantasy either, so I couldn't borrow it. Like famously, well, I don't know about famously, but famously, my first experience with the Zelda game in terms of playing it was Breath of the Wild because we didn't have any Zelda games. Um, we never had any Pokemon games, so my first time playing that was um, Sword and Shield. Um, we didn't have any Mega Man games. My first Mega Man game I ever played was Mega Man 9 in my first year of university. One of my friends had it on his Wii, so I would play that from time to time, but never played Mega Man as a kid. And I still have yet to play any Final Fantasies. Ah, yes, your first Zelda game was Breath of the Wild 2. Yep. And Sword and Shield, nice. your old Zelda 1, Final Fantasy 1, etc. I mean, that's fair. I don't think you're that much older than me. I mean, to be honest, in the if we're talking like geologic time or like space time, like are we really all that much older or younger than anyone else? Nah. It's all relative. What's a few billion years between friends? Exactly. Oh man, so I am, because I'm not sure I've mentioned it on here yet. I am officiating a wedding uh, for the people who actually live downstairs. Um, I'm officiating a wedding in a few days actually, because the wedding's on Saturday. Um, and I just finished my script today for the stuff that I'm going to be saying, and I think by the end of my spiel, I feel like there are going to be some folks crying, which I will consider I've done my job if that's the case, bringing some tears to some eyes, you know, for something as momentous as a wedding, you know. You have a license to perform those. So with this, technically, what's happening is we're having the ceremony, and then after the ceremony, they're actually going to the person who can actually like the actual like ordained officiant, who's going to like sign the wedding license and all that. But that'll be after the reception and everything. So it's a little bit backwards, but that's when she was available that day. So I'm not actually I'm officiating the ceremony, but I'm not actually marrying them per se. You know what I mean? Um, like for that reason, like I can't say at the end of it by the power vested in me by the province of Ontario, you know, um, I can say like, hey, you guys are married. Um, but they are officially getting married the same day. It'll just be after the ceremony. But yeah, being actually like actually getting your license to like be an efficient, from what I understand, isn't that hard a process. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, it should be fun. It should be fun. I have all the whole thing written out and all ready to go. And it's supposed to be really good weather too. So I'm excited for the day. I do want to actually introduce just a little bit of gray in here. It'll be my second time officiating a wedding because I officiated Jake's wedding actually. Again, that one they were actually legally married before, but they weren't in Canada. Um, they were legally married in the UK, so they came over here to celebrate with Jake's family, and they asked me to officiate. So I'm not in charge of any of the legal stuff. I just get to say the words and all that. But it's an honor to keep being asked to do these things for weddings and such. Feels good because I've been like an MC before for the reception. Um, no, I've been a groomsman multiple times. Feels good. Did you say it was this weekend or no? It is this weekend. Yeah, don't worry. You're not imagining things. This upcoming weekend. All right. Let's see how this looks. Okay, we got a nice sharp line, which is what I wanted. So that's good. Got to take your fractious cat to the vet. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's never a fun thing to have to do. My wife's on her way back from rehab already. Well, rehab. It's physio, which I guess is physical rehabilitation, but it's not like rehab. Like the rehab we usually use that connotation for. I'm surprised she's done already. That's good. Getting it in the carrier on time is 90% of the work. True, true. I've heard the same thing from a few cat owners that I know. That's the biggest struggle. I knew someone who said that like she had given birth, and she was like putting her cat in the carrier was still the harder thing to do. So I was like, oh, okay, dang. So she makes her husband do it. And then the drugs kick in. There. Okay. So I'm just gonna let that dry for a second, and then we'll try the other two. Try to lift those off without incident. see how that goes. Yeah. Maybe we'll be lucky and it won't be too difficult. But we shall see. All right. Let's try this one. And again, I'm employing the same technique pulling this off as I do with all the tape on the edges, where I'm pulling at a 45-degree angle, as you can see here. I'm pulling perpendicular to the line and just taking my time with it. Just like so. I'm gonna have to clean that up a little bit because the tape did take up a little bit of the charcoal, but that's no problem. Thanks, Nat. I appreciate that. Now this one I'm just gonna pull straight up. Ooh, look at that nice clean line. Very nice. I dig it. All right, good. Now, I'm gonna let that dry just a little bit. Just to, you know, let it settle before I start trying to do some of the charcoal work around it that I want to. And you'll see what I mean once it's a little bit more dry. But yeah, I am gonna have to clean up this arm a little bit, just because the tape did take up some of the charcoal. So I just have to kind of like, I basically just have to blend it in where the line is, because you can see, I don't know if you guys can see, but I can see very clearly there's a line right here where this part of the arm is a little bit lighter than this part. So I just need to do some blending and it should be good to go. And then we get this done, we'll sign it right here, and then we'll move on to the next one. In the meantime, while we're waiting, I am just going to look up and see if I've got any pictures of any subjects that I want to do next. Thank you, Squid. I appreciate that. Yeah, overall, that was pretty painless. I'm pleased with that. Let's see. I need a good picture of someone with their back turned, and I thought I saw one the other day in my stuff. Okay, so there's a good picture for the subject that's actually going to have their face abstracted. So I'll hold on to that. This next one that I'm doing, I think I'm only going to have 2 people in it. Maybe 3, but I think just 2. Kind of like simplify it a little bit, you know? Try another collection of pictures. These are some older pictures, so maybe there will be something in here. A lot of videos in this, actually. Why'd I take so many damn videos? Oh well. There's nothing in this collection that I really like. This won't be quite dry yet, but it'll be dry enough that I can like work without worrying about like taking anything out. That'll be a good one for when I do another couple. So today at work, we were actually talking about, we got on the subject of musicals. Um, I forget exactly how we got on that subject, but we did. And I had to confess that I am not the biggest fan of musicals, but I do appreciate musicals. I love me a good musical. That's good. That's good. That's very good. No, I definitely appreciate musicals. I appreciate the skill and the work that goes into creating musical. Um, for me, what it is I find with a lot of musicals, because you have to convey the story uh, through song, right? Um, and in doing so, in conveying the story through song, you have to basically um, you have to emote a lot, right? Like you have to very much like you have to enunciate, you have to do a lot of that. And I find that I don't know, for me, and this isn't an objective truth at all. Like believe me, it's not. This is my own thing. But for me, I find a lot of times when people do that, it kind of sucks the soul out of the voice, which I know doesn't make any sense, but it becomes kind of it seems a little faceless, if you will. Um, and because of that, some musicals just aren't my. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not into. We have to over exaggerate to act. Exactly, exactly. And because you have to enunciate everything, there's a very specific way of singing with a lot of musicals that it all kind of sounds the same to me. Um, Now, of course, that's only my opinion. That's only my opinion. Um, and it's not necessarily a popular one, and that's okay. Um, and it's not like I don't enjoy any musicals. I love Singing in the Rain. Um, I love The Wiz. The Wiz is my favorite musical. I love Annie. Um, and I mean, I love Disney movies. And Disney movies, like just about all of them are musicals. So, um, but some of them I do find, and some of them too. Like, there's part of me where, and this is really stupid. This is really stupid. I'm putting that caveat out now. Um, but sometimes I can't suspend my disbelief enough to get into a musical, because I like movies that are based in like some sort of realism, and just yeah, sometimes musicals just don't hit that for me. You still haven't seen The Wiz? The Wiz is very, very, very good. Um, Whether you watch the movie, now the movie is ridiculous. The movie tries to do more than it's capable of. So the movie isn't the best rendition, but if you can find like a stage rendition of The Wiz, I highly recommend that. I recommend the movie too because the movie's fun. Um, but uh, the stage show is definitely definitely a bop. I highly recommend it. The Wiz is so much fun. And I guess part of it too is like because when I say like you have to over enunciate things and make sure that you're clearly heard and everything. Like I love old school R&B, and a lot of times like say a band like Earth Wind and Fire, you have no idea what Earth Wind and Fire is saying in some of their songs, just because of the way that they sing, right? But that's kind of fun because there's like some soul to it. Um, but again, not for everyone. Oh man. So you all don't know this, but in scrolling through trying to find these pictures, um, I'm in a section of photos that I took right around the time my mom died. So we're just gonna scroll through those because I don't feel like being sad right now. All right, I just need a good. In video game parlance, I just need a good back spray. That's all I need. I just need a good back spray. Actually, that's a pretty good back spray. That works. Okay. Yeah, that works. Yeah, those pictures don't affect me as much as they used to. But I'm in the middle of the stream. Let me grab my charcoal. Oh. Didn't mean to knock that. If there's one thing, going back to the musical thing, if there's one thing I love though, I love it when people love the thing that they love. So even though musicals aren't my thing, I'm very, very happy when people talk about musicals that they love and musicals that they enjoy and revel in it. Because I love it when people are able to enjoy the thing that they enjoy. You know? There are a lot of people out there that are like, well, I don't like this thing, so I don't really like when people talk about it, you know? Which, with certain subjects, I mean, I guess that's fair, you know? Like, if you don't particularly like horror movies because they scare you and give you nightmares, but people around you are incessantly talking about horror movies, like, I think there's reason to be like, hey, can y'all just shut up, please? But if the subject doesn't, like, it isn't hurting any, it isn't harming anyone, like, come on, let people enjoy what they enjoy, you know? What I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of drawing the charcoal up the thing a bit. Like so. And we're gonna do the same thing here. Me to my boyfriend sometimes. I'm getting better with being more open to horror movies, but sometimes it gets to be a lot. Hey, that's perfectly fair. I always said, because my wife does not like horror movies. And when I found that out, I was like, okay, okay. She doesn't like horror movies. That's perfectly fine. I just am gonna have to watch them without her, you know? And as cool as it would be to share the experience of watching a horror movie with her, I know that she will not enjoy herself. So I'm just not going to subject her to it. Because horror movies are my favorite type of movie, you know? Um, but she won't have a good time. And if she's not having a good time with it, like, I'm not going to enjoy it, you know? So just just don't watch horror movies together. And that's perfectly fine. But I mean, in you got to do you, you know? You got to do what's comfortable with you. But yeah, horror movies for someone who's not particularly into them can be a lot. They can be quite a bit. Especially the new crop of horror movies that are coming up. A lot of these movies are something. I guess nice as it is to be able to share something you love with someone you love. With that particular subject, it's like, well, not this one. Okay, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, and otherwise, I think this one is finito. So, like with everything else, we're going to very carefully take this tape off, and I'm going to zoom out so you can see it a little bit better. I'm going to try and move this up. Careful tape peel. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, here's your daily dose of ASMR. And again, just pulling perpendicular and trying not to go. If you're doing this and you're a novice at it, and even if you're an expert at it, I would try to not pull all the way out. Like I would go like a little bit, come back in and pull closer. That way, if you get a tear, it's easier to catch the tear before it all tears up. But I'm bad at taking my own advice, so I tend to just go for it. But like Alice sang in Alice in Wonderland, the Disney one, I give myself very good advice, but I very seldom follow it. This one will be easy because I just got to pull toward me. This one up here is going to be a little hairier because I got to pull away. Leave that paint didn't go past the tape too much. Hey, good. I'm going to have to clean this up a little bit with an eraser, but that's okay. Rotate it? Well, you see, that would be the smart thing to do, but I'm not a smart man. But yes, you're right. That would be the smart thing to do there, Nat. Be right back. Got to clean up from dinner. Hey, no worries, no worries. We're still gonna be here for another at least 45 minutes or so. So take your time. I hope dinner was delicious. So you see there, we got a little bit of paper on this tape, um, but it's not a big deal. Certainly not anything to worry about. I mean, you can worry about it if you want to, if you're doing this a piece yourself, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, and like Nat said, let's do the smart thing and actually rotate this. Like so. And then we get to pull towards ourselves again. Beautiful. All right. I've got the Lofi Girl live feed going right now, and man, is it playing some good music. Okay. Now, before we move on with this, I am going to do some very careful erasing. because I do need to clean up some of the as you're working on a piece, you will get charcoal dust like all over the thing. No matter how careful you are, you will end up with charcoal dust on the piece. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking this dirty eraser, just wiping it on my pants like so to get rid of the charcoal that's on the eraser so that we don't transfer it onto the paper that we're trying to get excess charcoal off of, you know. And for those of you who don't like the inverted view of this piece, don't worry, it'll be right side up in just a second. Just I can see that a lot of the problem area is actually here, so might as well start where the problem is, you know. And then we're just gonna erase and make this as white as possible. It's okay if you can kind of find the demarcation line between the border and the actual surface of the drawing, but I want to try and get as much of the excess off as possible. And then going back in afterwards and basically getting rid of a lot of this eraser shavings. These eraser shavings, that's the proper way to say that. But just being careful, taking my time with it. I don't actually want to get rid of any of the drawing itself. Just the excess charcoal. So if I'm getting up close to the edge of the figures, I just have to be careful not to accidentally erase into them. Because what that can also do is just transfer more charcoal onto your eraser, and then you got to do this all over again. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I like to get as much of it off as possible. But at the end of the day, you just have to do what it is that you're able to live with, right? If you get enough of the charcoal off and you're like, or if you look at it and it's like, I can deal with all this extra charcoal dust that's just sprayed out on the thing. If you're cool with it, then hey, you can leave it because art is your own thing, you know? Cleaning it on my pants and no fuss artist. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, these are just old track pants. They're made for getting dirty, you know? What I really just don't want to do is transfer any charcoal onto the white border, because as much as you try to erase charcoal, like if it's a light dusting, you can generally get a lot of it off. But if it's a lot of charcoal like this, like I could like take an eraser and really just try to rub this out like where the figures are all I want, and the charcoal will not come off all the way, right? That's just the nature of charcoal. So I want to try and make sure that I don't get like a dark mark here on the border, because if I do, well, that's it. That mark's just there. You know, I can try and erase it away, as much as I can, and most of it will come off, but that's one of the challenges of working with charcoal is it's not forgiving when it comes to erasure. And it's not forgiving either when it comes to like going over it. Like with paint, because you can't really erase paint, but you can wait for the paint to dry and then paint over it, right? And there are even actual ways to get rid of paint. There are ways to erase it per se, but you can't really do that with charcoal. Honestly, if you make a big enough mistake with charcoal, in all honesty, if you're not willing to work with the mistake and you want to fix it, honestly, the easiest fix I would say is to just restart it and do it again and try not to make the same mistake again. That's like the easiest thing to do. All right. I'm gonna grab this here and blow all this. No. That bill. The nozzle of my air canister just flew off. So we'll try that again without the oops. Yo! Odysseus, thank you very much for the sub, the resub. Very much appreciated. And thank you for the kind words. You're my hero. But no, seriously, thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. What is that? Let's say 2 months? What it said? They subscribed for 2 months, yeah. No, I very much appreciate that. All right, and here is another piece complete. Well, actually, almost completed. Where did my pen go? Put it. But how are you doing, Odysseus? Hope you're having a good night. Or day, whatever time of day it is for you. Put my pen. Stop shaking. Let's check in here. I know I have other pens in here, but there's one particular pen that I like using. Huh. I'm doing well. Thought I would stop and give you some love. Well, I very much appreciate that. Yeah, you didn't have to do that. Thank you very much. Okay, so I don't like to be finicky, but there is a particular pen that I like using to actually sign my stuff. So I'm going to keep it on here for now. I'm not going to go to be right back or anything because I'll be back in like a minute at the most. But just hold tight. I'm going to go find my pen. Also, I just realized, because this is looking very orange, I forgot to turn that light on. So, oh, that's why, because it casts a shadow. It casts more of a shadow. All right. I'll be right back, everyone. Go there. Actually, it's a good thing that I went to go find my pen, because I also realized I forgot the scissors that I need to cut the next piece. So it was a good thing. I'm just gonna put the plastic back on this, wrap it up, and put it away, and then I'll sign this, and then this piece will be done. And that'll be piece number 5 of 48. Thank you, Nat. Welcome back to you too. Okay. Here's a question for all you fine people. This is more of a gaming question. It's not more of a gaming question, it is a gaming question. But have any of you played this game Animal Well? It's on the Switch. It's probably on other platforms as well. But I know that it's on the Switch because that's what I'm playing it on. Because if you haven't, and you're a fan of Metroid style games or Castlevania style games, or as is usually said, Metroidvania style games, and you also like games that are a lot deeper than they appear to be on the surface and have a lot more content than you think it does on the surface, I think you'll enjoy Animal Well. Which is saying a lot for me too, because I don't particularly like Metroidvanias. They're fine. They get a little confusing to me sometimes. But I'm really, really enjoying Animal Well. It is 24, 10, 07. Oh. So yeah, I highly recommend if you're a fan of that style of game. All right. Not bad. Not bad. I like how that turned out. All right, we're just kind of zooming through, well, I don't think we're zooming through them, but this one went fairly quickly. Thanks for the record. Oh yeah, no problem, no problem. And what's nice too is it's an indie game. This one guy, it was made by one guy. Much like Undertale. I know there were other people involved with Toby Fox with Undertale, but I think this guy like built the game himself. Like did everything in it. There is one thing I will say: if you're a fan of like music in video games, this game doesn't, at least as far as I've played, because I haven't beaten it yet or anything. I'm not even close to beating it. But there's not a lot of music. There's certain sections that have a little bit of music, like save rooms have music, boss rooms have like a little bit of music, but it's not a very musical game. It's a lot of ambience, a lot of ambient sound, a lot of that kind of thing. So if music is a big deal for you in a video game, there unfortunately isn't a whole lot of music. But if that's not a big deal for you, if it's not a deal breaker, then by all means check it out. It's I've been having a lot of fun with it. And that's as someone who, like, I love video game music, and I love music, and I love when music like ties into the things that I enjoy. So you know, that being, even with that said, like, I'm loving this game so far. So, and I don't know if any of you ever watched a video game Donkey, but he started a publishing company for video games called Big Mode, and this was their first release, I believe. It's Big Mode's first release. So you're supporting an independent creator, and you're supporting like a small time publishing company. You know, it's just good stuff all around. Okay, So we'll get this out of here, and then we'll start a new piece. I'm going to put this where I'll put it on the back of this one, I think. Does everyone say goodbye to this one? I'm gonna have to find a new way to store those soon. Okay. So now we're going to map out the border of a new one. I'm looking forward to trying the winning games from Game Boy Jam. The results of which were announced this morning. Oh, what is that? What is that? I somehow missed that. I didn't know that was a thing that was going on. So please feel free to let me in on it. But that does sound cool. Pencil, square. All of these are approximately 18 by 18. Obviously, because this paper isn't perfectly square, it's not going to be a perfect 18 by 18, but it's close enough. Here. Shoulder. And possibly my head. There we go. Cut across it, and tape it to the front. Which reminds me, I'm gonna have to get more masking tape soon, because this roll is almost out. Let's see, what does that say? A game jam is an amateur game making competition. Oh, fair, nice. So I didn't know that was going on. So cool. Any particular of the games that you're really looking forward to? Cross. I'm really careful to stay on the line because I do want this to be as square as possible. My hair is in the way. Okay, so we'll just move this to the side for a second. Put this back the way it needs to go. And then we'll start taping. Entrants had 10 days to design a game according to a particular theme. 397 entries. Oh man. Not really, just probably try just the top 10 to 20 games. Might stream it. I think that'd be a very interesting stream. Man, that's a lot of entries. So did everyone have the same theme, or were they like split up in like certain groups got like one theme and another group got another? That's really cool though. There's a little bit of the border there, but honestly, if I was that worried about it, I could just do this. It's fine. Now we'll do the bottom edge. Not so much lining it up with the bottom of the cover of this. I'm trying to line it up with the paper, the bottom of the paper. Just like so. Everyone had the same two themes, Game Boy and Spooky. Ooh, spooky. Well, I like that. Yeah, if you stream that, if I'm around, I'll definitely tune in. I'm gonna give that another go. Just to ensure that edge is covered up. There we go. Actually, now that you mention it, where's my mouse? Where's my cursor? There it is. Must have been hanging out on the second screen. Just want to give a quick shout out to enter. Thank you. To Retro Homebrew. Friend of the channel for a while now. Squid's been coming around here for a while. Previously known as Don't Eat the Squid. And also Who Ate the Squid, I believe. For those of you who've been around for a while. Caught a stream of theirs a couple of I guess it was last week, just playing some like old school like Commodore 64 games. Really entertaining stream. So if you like, as the name says, retro homebrew games, you should definitely give Retro Homebrew a follow. You will not be disappointed. Hey, no worries, no worries. It's well deserved. Just gonna make sure that this is lined up as close to that line as possible without overlapping it too much. I'm not too concerned with these borders being perfectly square, as long as they're close enough. Wow, good memory. Well, with your previous names. To be fair, you've had some very distinctive usernames. There we go. There's our border done. Now we'll come back in here. And we will start sketching out the figures that we're going to have. Even remembers the first one. Like I said, you have very distinctive usernames. Ah, there we go. What do you want now, computer? Leave me alone. There we go. I still have to figure out what I'm going to be doing with my laptop because the one hinge, which I found out by doing some research online, apparently is a very common error or a common problem with this laptop, this particular brand of Dell laptop. Um, the hinges are god awful, and the one hinge, yeah, just basically started disintegrating. But it means I'm gonna have to like send my laptop away and maybe not even get it back. So I gotta figure out what and when I'm gonna do that. So not particularly looking forward to that, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Gonna have to do it soon though. Okay. So I'm gonna have two figures over here toward the edge of the page, I think. Yeah. And then a figure over here. So this one's gonna be a lot more sparse than the last one we did that had 5 figures in it. So I'm gonna start with figure here. Which we're gonna have about halfway up the page. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna start her head a little more in. Yeah, it is tricky. I gotta figure out what I'm doing with that. Because I guess I'll just go back to the gorilla streaming where I just like stream off my phone without the access of like OBS and all that. But I'd rather not have to do that again, you know. But the error with my laptop isn't just gonna fix itself either. So as all of these forums have made readily aware to have made it very aware that you can't fix this problem yourself unless you know how to like build a hinge basically from scratch. I should replace my laptop soon. Big Bertha here turns 15 in February. Damn. A 15-year-old laptop. Wow. Nice. It's like a vintage laptop. What type of laptop is it? Because that is very very impressive that you've been able to keep it running for that long. Because my previous laptop, I thought that's how I was gonna have that laptop for life, because it was running so well, and then the motherboard died on me. Well, no, that was the laptop before. My last laptop, uh, something was going on. I think it was battery related, but then they said it was the motherboard. I don't know. I didn't particularly believe them. Lots of RAM is the secret for future proofing. Ah, that's fair. That's fair. An Acer? Nice. Nice. I've had an Acer before. My previous laptop was an Asus or an Asus, however you pronounce it. Yeah, and it was working perfectly fine. And then one day I put it down on my bed, fired it up, and it just would not turn on. And then also wouldn't turn off, which I thought was peculiar. But I had a warranty on it, so I didn't want to void the warranty. So I didn't open it up and try and fix the problem myself because I looked up what the problem likely was, and I was like, I think I could probably handle that myself, but I don't want to void this warranty. And then they ended up not honoring the warranty anyway because they deemed that the damage was because of something that I did myself. You know, it didn't cover damage. It didn't cover a physical damage. And I'm like, what physical damage? So I was none too pleased. But then they gave me a rebate basically when because they sent it off. I had to pay to get them to fix it. They sent it back and they didn't even fix the problem because I fired up the laptop again and it still wouldn't turn on. So they had to send it back out. And then they were like, well, we don't know what happened, so we're going to give you a rebate for a completely brand new laptop, which is the one I have now that the hinge is broken. But that's not the place where I bought this laptop. That's not their fault. That's Dell's fault. Is it too much to ask for technology just to work the way we want it to? Also, like, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist and everything, but there's part of me that can't help but think that the problem that basically destroyed my previous laptop wasn't a tiny bit of planned obsolescence. Because I barely had that laptop 2 years, and then all of a sudden the motherboard stops working. When I had no issues with that laptop beforehand, like I don't know about that. I do not know about that. But hey, this is a good laptop that I have now, but I do need to get it fixed because this hinge is just going to get worse and worse and then just going to fall apart on me, and I would rather it not do that. Nice long coat sleeve that ends right about here. Yep, that definitely happens. Corners are cut. Yeah, it's very aggravating. Because, like I said, there was absolutely nothing wrong with that laptop before. But, yeah, what are you gonna do? This little wrinkle fold there on the other coat sleeve for the daughter. I can't see these people's faces, but I'm assuming that they're father and daughter. Wasn't Apple caught bricking their older phones via software updates? Yep, they were. They were indeed caught doing that. I'm not sure of all the legalese that went into it, but yeah, yep, they were definitely caught doing that. I don't remember the outcome, if there was an outcome for the that was favorable to the consumer, but yep, they were indeed found doing that. But that's okay. I mean, I do have an Apple phone, but I considered their phones bricked when they got rid of the headphone jack. And then I had to get a version that had where I had to get a headphone adapter, which is just the dumbest thing in the world. Like I understand why. It's because they wanted to save space and they wanted the phones to be smaller and thinner, and you can't really do that with a headphone jack. But it's all just like, why did you make this harder? Why did you make it harder to use your phone? Also, because they wanted to sell the little dongle that lets you the little adapter. Like, oh, you want to use a headphone? Here's an adapter for you. And of course, us being Apple, only the Apple branded adapters will work 100% of the time. And like keep up like good sound quality. Corporations, man. Makes you mad enough that you almost want to start your own business. But then I never will because that's so much work. No, thank you. I don't need that headache. Okay. Now there's a little purse coming down here. So just also put the bottom of the dad's jacket right there where it needs to go. Have any of you been playing the Silent Hill 2 remake? I'm just curious. Because from what I've heard, people are very, very pleased with it so far. By and large. Obviously, there are some people that aren't, and that's okay. So this is more straight down. Honestly, I haven't played most popular games from the past quarter century. Fair, fair. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I was just curious to see if anybody else had played, see what their thoughts on it were. It's texting me. Oh, my wife just sent me a heart. Oh, you just started gaming again in 2022. Fair enough. Fair enough. Any particular reason for the hiatus? Just life getting busy, or you need to take a break because you were gaming too much, or just just because? Don't worry. There are no wrong answers to that quiz. See, the problem with sketching this figure here is he's wearing a very dark coat and he's wearing very dark jeans, and the picture is kind of blurry. Like, I don't even remember where I took this picture from. Like, I don't know what location this is where I would have snapped this picture. But obviously we were somewhere because I took this picture. I just don't remember where it is. Excuse me. You beat Final Fantasy VI in high school, wasn't feeling it anymore. Had lots of gaming friends in elementary school, but my high school crew weren't really gamers. Ah, that's fair. That's fair enough. Yeah, now that you mention it, a lot of my high school friends weren't gamers either. Like Jake played games every once in a while, but I feel like he's much more of a gamer now. Um, a couple other of my buddies, like if anything, we would get together and play Mario Kart, but that was about it. That was about the extent of it. Went from a Nintendo Power subscriber to not even aware when the PS1 and N64 were released. Ah, fair. Yeah, it's kind of funny how life changes like that, eh? Just all of a sudden. I wonder if this picture predates me even starting to date my wife. I don't know. I'm going to see very much of this dude's hand, but that's also all right. Let's go over a little bit. There we go. Well, hey, we managed to get 2 figures done. Let me zoom in a bit more. Which I guess I could have zoomed in this entire time. But we got 2 figures done, and then we've got another figure that's going to be over here. But much as it pains me to say, I think that'll be it for today's stream. Yeah. So we finished one drawing. Now we've started another one. And hopefully we'll finish this one post-haste, because this one should go quicker, because again, we're only doing one figure over here who's going to have their face done, and then these 2 facing away. So this one will probably go quicker, to be honest. But yeah. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed today's stream. Thank you for coming to hang out with me. Some thank yous to Nat and Odysseus. Thank you very much for the subs, for the resubs. I very much appreciate it. Once again, y'all didn't have to do that. I just appreciate y'all being here. To everyone who was chatting, everyone who was lurking, I appreciate all y'all. Let's go. Still on. I'm gonna have to raid and run, because I'm gonna go for a walk with my wife. It's kind of our nightly thing to get our steps in. I'm just gonna make sure that this person's still streaming. And it appears that they are. We're gonna go say hi to Shay's playing, because Shay's playing right now is playing my, I would say, second favorite game of all time. She's playing the remake, actually. She's playing Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, the remake. Oh, what happened there? That was the pause screen of me watching the VOD of Nub Zombie playing the Silent Hill 2 remake. So, hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Very much appreciate that, Squid. But yeah, we're gonna go say hi to Shay's playing. So next stream is going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. I didn't get to stream Undertale over the weekend, and I'm not ready to actually start streaming Paper Mario Thousand Year Door quite yet. So tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll be playing Undertale, which we don't usually on Tuesdays, but tomorrow it's going to be a special Tuesday. So feel free to tune into that if you're available, and if not, we'll be back to this piece on Thursday at 6 p.m. And then after that, we'll see you on Sunday for probably some more Undertale. But I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening or day or morning, whatever time of day it is for you. And if I don't see you, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week too. All right. Take it easy, everybody. Let's go say hi to Shay.